What's up, guys? Gonna be recording myself going through one of these games I played earlier. This is on a Diamond 3 account. Let me show you guys the account before you start calling me a fake coach. I know it's not the most impressive, but I am playing on 180 ping as I type it in on Google. Let's get it. So this is the account, 70 on Shaco, pretty much MVP every game. If I lose, it's team disparity. But yeah, there's like every game where we're just popping off. I've got a 6.62 KDA, 10 kills, 2.5 deaths, 7.1 CS. How do I average so much CS and still get so many kills in a game? I've got 16 kills here, but I've got 8 CS per minute. It's just jungling decisions, man. That's all it is. So hopefully in this video, we'll get into some of them. But I really want to focus on early game here. I think this might be one of the most like instructive videos you guys are ever going to watch in terms of early game jungling. And what happens when there's a lot of activity. Games where nothing's happening and everyone's full HP, it's quite boring, right? You're probably just clearing camps because that's what kind of like constitutes a full clear. Nothing happening. There's no kills. You can't kill any of the enemy champions, which is always like the focal point. So whenever you're clearing camps, look at the enemy champions HP bar. Those are the champions you're getting gold from, not your teammates. Doesn't matter about your teammates. The only time you need your teammates is if you personally can't kill the person or lane you're going towards, right? So you might need the Malzahar to flash an R. You might need the Nautilus to land a Q, but even those gangs can be quite interesting, right? Because we're relying on someone else. Anyway, this game, a little bit of Shaco technology. I'm going to talk about Shaco a little bit here, but for the most part, these decisions later on have nothing to do with the Shack. I'm going to start at Wolves here because I know they're just going to late invade my bot side. It pretty much always happens, or invade my bot side in some capacity. So we start at Wolf camp. I also start at Wolves because if they do late invade my top side here with a Conqueror, Lee Sin, and Camille, if you guys are ever scared about this, by the way, on whatever champion you're playing, you just start at Wolves because it's a little bit deeper and it's actually easier to get level 2 off this than blue buff, obviously. So if Camille was to turn the corner and Lee Sin turns the corner, it would get interesting. Anyway, we start at Wolves and we do Gromp afterwards. I'm going to forward this a little bit here. And after hitting my level 3, where Lee Sin starts, we have a ward here as well. This is really nice, by the way. So whenever they're late invading my bot side, maybe a bit of Shaco tech. But if I were you, I'd do this in every game. Like if you have a mid laner, which you will in every game, but your mid laner, just ask them to like ward. Can you ward their Raps mid? And you can like always press G. So G on my keyboard anyway is the hotkey for pinging. So the ping wheel will come up. And in the bottom left of that wheel, this one down here, southwest, is the ask for a ward ping. I always do that. So when they ward like this, I just know where the enemy jungler starts. It's really easy to tell, right? You'll see this in high elo a lot. And that just like, yeah, exactly. Like it just opens up an opportunity. Maybe if I know Lee's going like this to invade his bot side, which is what happens in this game. Or if I know he's started bot side, maybe I can do something like this if I started a red buff, right? So it's a very, very useful ward. Anyway, we're going to continue clearing down here because I don't think I can kill anyone. I look at this mid lane and people might be like, wow, he looks killable. But I look at this, he's holding the top side of mid. So maybe I could say, well, what about going around here? But I still think it's impossible to kill this guy. This guy has his W passive. I'm pretty sure that is. He's got flash as well. I think it's impossible to kill him. I'm also playing AP Shaco that pretty much has like no DPS whatsoever. So to kill someone, I literally need them to like face check a box, or for them already to be at like an HP where I can auto attack E and ignite, and this guy obviously isn't. So I don't think there's any kill mid. And in terms of bot lane here, my bot's doing well, so I've got like double prio, and we see the Lee Sin half HP farming Raptors here. So I know that this guy's going to be pathing towards bot lane, right? If he ganks my Scion, bro, I'd be so happy because I'm just going to take his whole bot side, right? So because of this, I don't think I can gank any lane here, right, and kill them. I think killing Galio and killing Jinx and Nico, wherever she is impossible, yeah? So when you factor in the enemy jungler as well, you add something, you add like another champion, right? You can go and kill and pressure. So because I have like 2 really good lanes here with prio, I mean, I guess mid doesn't have prio. But anyway, like bot lane has insane prio here and you see the difference. So this even happened before, right? So as I'm finishing Raptors here, I might look bot lane and think, oh my God, I've got like the most insane prio ever. You know, Garen might not have prio, but again, it's just the fact that I've got 2 champs in bot lane. So this would be like a really good 3v, whatever it might eventuate in becoming, right? So therefore, like in this situation, I just decide to invade Lee Sin's walls, and that's what I do. I wait a little bit in case he wants to make a play. Like you can see Galio asking for assistance here. So Lee Sin might definitely think about making a play here. That's why I just wait a little bit in that brush and then run out after like 3 seconds, at which point I know for a fact he's farming walls. So we queue over. Again, if you're playing another champion, hit the blast cone and go over. And we almost, well, we don't get a kill, but we get his flash, which is still really good. We chase him a little bit, and I know here because my box is vision that he smites this. So if someone is smited like this, they definitely don't have another one for like a good 60 seconds, I think, because they would have smited one of their first 3 camps. So now I just have like free reign on his bot side, right? And I have smite. It's a very important like difference here. And also I think like doing Raptors is nice because it means that I'm 2 camps away from level 4. I could have done red buff, but Raptors are just quicker and it lets me easily transition into this. If I do red buff, then I've got to go around like, you know, terrain. I don't really like it too much, but yeah. To end up pressuring him here. Now it's really important, like I say really important a lot, by the way. I've done these reviews on Patreon, and even though they get, you know, a very warm response, my response to them is that I say really important a lot. So I'm going to say the word rimp, which is really important, just abbreviated. God, I'm weird, eh? Right, yeah, so we invade this, and this happens afterwards. He queues over and he smites. Now, I know that Galio wards this, and I know that Galio is in a better position to move than Garen here, right? But I know my bot lane is absolutely dominating. I also know here in terms of jungle, right? There's 1 and there's 2. I know Lee Sin has 16. Okay, like my box would have taken maybe 2 of the small walls. That's kind of nice as well. But I know that Lee Sin has these 2 camps up, and he will know this as well, of course. But if I play in this area here where they have vision, they obviously know, like, you know, maybe I'm doing the blue buff down here. Maybe I'm going to like leash it into the brush. I think those are both suicide. The camp that Lee Sin is probably going to do is the outside camp. And you'll see this a lot, like if you invade red buff and the enemy jungler like suspects you're here, they're going to run all the way around and do their Krugs. So I'm actually hitting the outside camp, not the buff here, which I think is kind of smart. So what I do, a little bit of Shaco tech, is I just queue over and get in this brush first. If you're playing another champion, you can probably even just run down and sit here. I decided to queue just to make sure. We ignite Lee, he face checks, get a couple of auto attacks, E him, and the ignite puts him on like 100, 150 HP, right? Now I know here their bot lane will respond, but remember, my bot lane is dominating. So if my bot lane here, just like in your games, is hopefully dominating, but when they are, like, this is really good for you because their Jinx is just going to miss like minions, right, and experience and stuff. So whenever my bot lane shoves this wave in, if Jinx is actually that preoccupied with like defending her jungle, she's missing out on her role, right? So like golden experience in the form of minions. So this like indirect, well, it is direct pressure, but this pressure like ripples across the whole map, right? So instead of being concentrated here, it actually ripples across everywhere, and a jungle diff becomes a lane diff. Because Galio is moving over and using a ward here to protect his jungler. Now he doesn't have one if I gank him in the near future, right? So it ripples across the whole map when you make the best moves here. It's not about like play style or any of that rubbish. This is just looking at the information you have. So information, number 1, and number 2 is reacting to the information best you can, right? It's not proactive or inactive. This is just what jungling is. So I queue over, obviously knowing he's there. This is just Nico tech. I kind of got a little bit baited, but I know they're just like both so low and just losing lane or whatever bot lane, so I don't really care about this. So we take his Gromp, and I know here that, in my opinion anyway, like the game is already over. Even if we don't kill him here, like Lee Sin's going to have a hard time like getting back in this game because he's 2 camps behind already, and I'm probably going to take his blue buff after this. But we end up killing him, which is really great. Like my bot lane runs through the tower, which is good. And again, I knew this was going to happen. This isn't like me getting lucky or coin flipping. I just know my bot lane is winning right now. And whenever they're winning, like if they have prior right now, I just think they're going to have prior indefinitely, which basically means like they're just always going to have it unless like, you know, something drastic happens, like they die or they kill someone, then they're probably going to base shortly afterwards, right? Because the enemy champions are running out of base full HP again. So you have to be careful about that sometimes. Like if your lane is going to kill, it can actually be the worst thing because their laner might TP back full HP and all of a sudden, oh, wow, I thought my laner was going to be here. Type thing, right? So you have to be careful of that. And after this, because Lee Sin's dead, even though I know this is warded, right, they're never going to come over here. Like, what are they going to do to me when I have Q and stuff? So I just do this. This is where it like really starts, right? And I think this will be very informative. What would you guys do here? So after blue, obviously, what would you guys do? And feel free to pause the video. I'm not going to like stop because I want to continue talking, of course, and do the video. But feel free to pause and just think here. In my head here, all I'm thinking about is Lee Sin. The Jinx is full HP under tower. The Nico is probably running out of base. I don't think we can dive the Jinx, so that's the first thought because my bot lane, I saw them. They were kind of low, like losing half HP or whatever. And mid lane, my Garen's running out of base. So in terms of making some sort of play on the enemy champions here, I don't see it. I don't see like what I can do, which is what I'd rather do because yeah, kills are like obviously huge. So all I'm going to do here is just finish blue buff. So lots of junglers here are just going to farm red and then Krugs afterwards. This is terrible. The reason why this is terrible is because Lee Sin's future, the enemy champions kind of present and future, determines your present and future. Lee Sin's present, let's have a think about it. Lee Sin is running out of base, yeah? We can all agree on that. Lee Sin's running out of base somewhere, and I'm deliberately not showing it because we need to think. Lee Sin's running out of base somewhere. Where is Lee Sin going to run out of base? He started topside, and it's 4:15. His Krugs should have spawned already, or they'll be very close to spawning, right? Unless he started Raptors. But anyway, his top camps are spawning. We know that he knows with the ward on blue buff, even if he doesn't have a ward from his mid laner on his blue buff here, he knows that I smited his Gromp away and I'm going to take his blue buff here. He's got no camps up bot side. He should also know that if he goes to bot crab, I can just take that. And if he knows that I still don't have my red buff, I could just take that right here. So Lee Sin might be thinking about doing what? Lee Sin might be thinking about doing this. Therefore, what do? We base. You see me pinging here to Garen to come help me because I think Lee Sin's doing crab at least. So I'm running to Gromp because he may have ran to Gromp first. Then I ping my Garen and ask my mid laner to move over to crab. Always make sure your mid laner, guys, is moving to your side of the map. So if you want to do grubs, make sure they don't ward bot side of the map. It's happened so many times in like Master Relo over here. It's crazy. So make sure you do that. But all I'm thinking about is Lee Sin here. That's it. So that tempo there, me recalling. Remember, tempo is just recalling. So there, I'm just kind of like, what's the word? That's like an exhibition of defensive tempo. I'm recalling to defend my camps that mean way more than a Scuttle Crab and 2 level 1 camps down here. I've got level 4 spawning. I want to defend these. My red buff is not going anywhere. This crab is not even going anywhere, right? I want to defend these and protect them from Lee Sin. We end up doing crab. And a fight happens. I'm out of base with Sork Shoes. I'm strong. And I know the Sion is ahead as well, because running out of base, I would have like seen the lane. You can even see the lane here that Sion had priority. And that's why he's here, right? Because he's fighting. He's a big boy. So we end up going in, 180 ping. Here he comes. I don't want to talk too much about this. I'm also just checking the volume because it is quite loud. Let me just lower that. Let's go. And at the end of this, we kill Lee Sin again. So he's 0 and 2. And we end up killing the Galio as well because he flashes. So we prioritize him. And then I take his Raptors here. Remember, Lee Sin did not do crab. That's not Lee Sin, by the way, on the minimap. That's Nico. Lee Sin did not do crab. And he had 14 CS, I think, when we killed him bot side at his Gromp. He's gone from 14 to 18. Every camp is worth 4 CS if you get all of the monsters, that is. Therefore, he's done 1 camp. If his Raptors are up, what camp has he done? His Krugs, right? So Lee Sin has done his Krugs here. His Raptors are just sitting here. I take his Raptors. Why is it good to take his Raptors here? Why would I not take his Raptors? I'm literally standing right on top of them. In terms of jungling guides, like when you do camps, you always want to try to go out to in. Another way I like to describe it, let me just get my little epic pen here. Another way I like to describe it is where, based on what team you're on, I like to call this side of the map, so the enemy jungle side of the map, a 1. Including laners as well. So if you kill their lanes, I think those are 1s as well. Like 1 being the top priority. Like they're great if you can get them. 2s reside in the river. So scuttle crabs, dragons, and grubs, you know? Like they're contested. Everyone wants a piece of the action type thing. They're in the middle. And then 3s are your camps. You can see here that my red buff is just sitting here. My Gromp, my wolves are just sitting here. My Krugs are just sitting here level 1. Oh my god, don't you want to cycle your Krugs? Isn't that really important as a jungler? Not in this game. In games where nothing's happening, great, of course you should. Because if there's no 1s to be made, so no plays in terms of killing enemy champions or taking their camps, we go back to 2s. What about 2s? Is there a crab? Are there grubs I can take? What about a Drake? If not, then we just do 3s. Think about level 1 in a game. Very rarely are you going to be invading someone at level 1 or killing them, you know, like on the first wave. 99.9% of the time, you're killing your first camp. Right? You're doing a 3. Then you might do a couple more 3s, and then all of a sudden you can think about 1s. Continues the whole game. Let's think about this situation a little bit more. So here I'm going to do his Raptors because, kind of goes back to my point, right? I'm doing a 1 here, and then I want to come back. So if I was to clear my camps here, let's not think about Lee Sin. Let's just say I'm in this game on my own. What I would do here is do Raptors, Gromp, Wolves, and probably just clear down, bro. Because it's like so nice for my sequencing, right? Like the path just looks really nice. I'm not stepping over my footprints. If we were to do something like this, because one of the recent videos I made, like reviewing Dante's team, he went blue into red to steal the enemy jungler's red buff. Then he had to come all the way back to his Gromp. The reason that's inefficient is because you're going over your own footprints. He should have gone like this. And then he can come back over. It still looks a little bit like you're going over your own footprints, but it just looks like neater, right? Rather than doing 1 in, then you come back over it. Like it just looks a little bit neater, having like a nice little kind of like loop here in a way, rather than going I don't really like doing that. So if you start on their side and come back, I always think that's really efficient. Now the theme of this video, I even think like at this point I've probably been through enough, so this will be the last point we talk about, but again, no less important. I've said that word important again. Where do you think Lee Sin's going out of base here? He should know that I'm doing his Raptors, right? I haven't shown going through mid. I haven't shown on any ward he's got over here. He should just know that I'm taking his Raptors. Why wouldn't I? Especially if I've been tracking his camps, right? He had a 14 when he died bot. He's got 18 here, so he did his Krugs, his Raptors, just sitting here, level 4 Raptors, lovely jubbly, give them to me, 180 ping. Lee Sin's running bot, surely. Or if he's running to Raptors, which is actually what he is doing in this case, don't know why, but if he is running to these Raptors and he sees that they're gone, what is he going to do? Well, first of all, he's probably going to get very, very mad. He might break a few things. And afterwards, he should regain consciousness and think about doing something to the Shaco who's invaded him. How dare this guy take my raptors? Oh my goodness, let me get him back. It's a natural reaction. So how does Lee Sin get me back here, do you think? So I'm actually thinking about this here, by the way, which is why, like, every move you see, I'm going to the next one immediately. It's not like I'm clicking over to my Gromp and then I'm like, oh, let me just come back, you know, somewhere else. Or after I do his blue buff, let me run to my red buff. Oh no, I should probably recall here and cover my top camps. It's instant, right? I'm thinking about it literally right here while I'm doing the camp. Doing this camp, it's already been done in my head. Hit the vision plant, because why not? They will know I'm here. So we can hit this. Whenever they know you're here, you can always hit a vision plant. It doesn't take away, you know, like information or give them information. Sorry, they already have it. So it's whatever. You can always see where I'm clicking here. I think Lee Sin's reaction here, if he is going to do anything, what's the worst thing that can happen to me? So if I do Gromp and Wolves, like lots of people here, same thing, right? Lots of people will just get baited, a bit induced by Gromp Wolves, maybe even Grubs. Wow, Grubs are up in 20 seconds. That's nice. Maybe Gromp into Grubs. Sick, I got all 3 Grubs. Let's go. If you do X and give up more than X, it is not good, especially if you have a lead. I'm probably 1 camp away from level 5. This is still a level 3 Lee Sin. If I ended up doing anything topside here, what might I lose in return? 1, 2, 3. Especially if I base afterwards, right? Because I'm probably sitting on like a little bit of gold, maybe. Yeah, like 2 amp tones worth of gold after my top camps anyway. So it's actually like a legit base, maybe. But there's nothing stopping Lee Sin from doing this. What do? Make sure I don't get seen by the vision. And I think here he might be doing this, or at least on Crab. I also think it's impossible for me to do Crab just because, well, Galio can always ult onto the Lee Sin. So it's being, you know, like a Shaco, I guess. If I Q over him with no Q and Lee Sin's just in the brush waiting, or, you know, I just get unlucky timing and he's in the brush and starts going on me, Galio presses R and GG, I'm gonna rage. So what I do here is actually kind of like set up a trap. I just pink wall this and just go over, and we ain't talking the streamer, and we do the red buff, bro. So I cover my bot side just by running here straight away. You will see the best junglers in the world do this a lot. But I'm serious though, like if you go and watch Canyon, guys, like after he does grubs or if he does something on the enemy jungle's top side, and remember, just like the 1s and 2s, right? So if you do a 1, you're probably showing yourself, yeah? Sometimes you can just take camps without being seen, that's great. But if you're showing and doing a 1 or a 2, so when you finish grubs, it says enemy team or this team has taken grubs, right? There's going to be an initial react. Oh my goodness, how, you know, and they go like this and they do the dragon or they dive your bot lane or something like that. I am responding to that reaction. So if you think about it, there is an action we've made here where we've killed Lee. There is a reaction from the Lee Sin potentially. There is a reaction from me. So it's like a 3-step process, if you will. So when you make like a play against an enemy champion, the enemy jungler here we're really talking about, they will react. Your job is to try to beat that reaction. So if I was to go to Gromp here, it's not really beating anything, right? Like they're just sitting there. This reaction is still actually kind of annoying for me to deal with, especially when he has mid prior, because my mid is basing. And he's got Galio hold as well to back him up. I'm still an AP Shaco as well. This is a Conqueror Lee Sin. If he hits level 4 and fights me, it can be interesting. So his best move, the most annoying move for me to deal with is this. So I cover it. My Gromp and Wolf still there? Of course. That's what challenger jungling is. You can see here as well. This is his 1, remember. Last point. Promise me last point. I'll probably keep going for another 20 minutes because I love League. But yeah, this is his number 1, remember. So 1s are the enemy jungler side. So for Lee Sin here, these are all 1s. 1, 1, 1. There's 3 of them, and he should know this. So 2. So because he hasn't invaded a 1 here, I'm thinking, well, at least surely he wants to do drag here with mid prio, knowing that I might be doing my top cancer on a base. Maybe I'm even doing grubs. That's why I put a box down. So in your games, you can always, if you're playing a jungler who can scout the dragon, maybe if you're playing Rengar, just give it an E. If you've got a ward, just drop it over the wall, no worries. So here I just drop a box down and I can see that he's not doing this. And I'm like, wait, what is he actually doing here? Which is really weird to me. He's just like doing his own camps, which is great for me, by the way, which is why, like, I guess this isn't Challenger Elo, but I'm just showing you, like, if it was Challenger, like this guy doing that, I've covered it. If you can beat the best move they have, you're never going to lose. Ever. Thanks for watching the video. If you want coaching... Bro, look at that silent flex. If you want coaching, guys, one-on-one, all elos, like every role, coach to challenger for pretty much everything at this point. So I say like pretty much everything, like every champion. But now for real though, if you want coaching one-on-one, there's links down below. Patreon is linked down below as well. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Thank you for clicking on it. Please leave a like down below and remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm streaming a lot as well this climb, so pretty much every game here on this account has been streamed. So make sure you check it out and catch me live, and don't be shy. Bye.